final score, Shrewsbury Town 2, Wrexham 1. Not a good day in the office, let's be honest here. A real disappointment against a Shrewsbury side that's been struggling to get results, although it's got to be said, and I think, before I say anything else about anything, whether it be how we played or things that didn't go our way or the referee, and I will moan about the ref, bottom line, Shrewsbury fought for their lives. Gareth Ainsworth organised them well, got them up for the game. They executed what he wanted perfectly, and on the night, the better team won. Not much of a consolation, quite frankly, when you go into it as the favourites. Indeed, you go into it knowing if you win, you're top of the league. But it is true. And, Shrewsbury do deserve an awful lot of kudos for the way they approached the game and the way they executed it as well. So, fair play. I'll mention a little bit more about them as it goes on. But yeah, I might have gripes to make, but I have no complaint about the scoreline, put it that way, except that I wish it turned out differently, funnily enough. Interesting team news of Wrexham. The wing-backs were back, of course, McLean and Barnett. Up front, Stephen Fletcher starting for only the second time this season, and he'd end the game still on the pitch. First time he's ever played a full 90 minutes for Wrexham. First time, in fact, since the relegation playoffs for Dundee United the season before last. So it was great to see that, and that could be an interesting development as the season goes on. We'll have to wait and see about that. Interestingly as well, that Elliot Lee was selected alongside him to play off him and between the lines. So 2 big decisions there up front by Phil Parkinson, and in the first half, I thought it was going all right. 1-1 at half-time, and I've got to be honest and say that at half-time, I felt pretty comfortable. I felt we could have played better, but I also felt that we were in a strong position to kick on, raise our game, and win it in the second half, if I'm perfectly honest. We'd started well. First 10 minutes or so were good. It was a real scrap, and ultimately, this was part of what helped Shrewsbury. They did draw us into a fight. It didn't suit us. They did outfight us, and with the same rough shape as us, it almost became a sort of individual battles sort of match, and they won more of their battles, if I'm perfectly honest, and so fair play to them. They took us on mano a mano, and it was a good approach. Having said that, in the opening stages, I thought we looked okay. It was a fight, but it was mostly a fight that was taking part in Shrewsbury's half. And some of the movement was working. Lee dropping off, and when a defender went with him, there were gaps at the back, and we were trying to get runners in to exploit it. Cannon made one terrific run, but he couldn't get his shot off. There was a moment when O'Connell tried to play a through ball for Fletcher. There was a huge gap right down the middle of the defence, and a good interception stopped it. But those aren't chances, are they? That was a problem for us. It was promising, but we weren't really carving out many chances. And then the other major problem for us, a mistake, gifts Shrewsbury a goal. It was after probably their first decent spell on the ball, but it ended. However, the ball knocked long. O'Connell, who seconds earlier had been given a bit of a short pass by O'Connor and had to get rid of it, finds himself under pressure from Lloyd and seems to lose his balance and makes a poor header straight to Marquis, the other striker. Marquis drives into the right channel. Cleworth does well to get across, but Marquis takes the shot on a bit early before Cleworth got into a position to try and make a block or usher him wide, and the fact he took it early and the power of it takes it past the Conquo and inside the right-hand post. It's a bad goal from Wrexham's perspective. It's an excellent goal from Marquis's perspective. He did so well to pounce on O'Connell's mistake and punish us absolutely definitively. But we responded well, and within 6 minutes, we are level. Shrewsbury were angry that the referee didn't give a foul by Rathbone in midfield, but when you look at the replay, it was a hell of a good tackle. He had to time it well because he really dived into it, but he won the ball really cleanly. And while Shrewsbury complained, James and Lee shifted the ball on quickly to Cannon. It was good to see that, actually, to be frank. This is what we needed a bit more of in the second half, just quickly shifting the ball around. Cannon worked it down the line to Barnett, and Barnett did Barnett thing. Dinked a beautiful clipped corner into the far post. Fletcher gets it really well above his man. Plants a powerful header into the roof of the net. Excellent work by Barnett and Fletcher. And we're level. And then, although there weren't that many chances in the rest of the half, I felt pretty good that we were, again, getting back on top of things. O'Connor had a free kick from the edge of the box, which he couldn't keep down. He skimmed it over the wall, but too much height on it. And that was about it until added time, when both sides exchanged opportunities and both sides had headed chances that they couldn't get on target. I would argue Shrewsbury's best move of the first half coming in the first minute of added time, and it ended with Ojo working the ball out wide to the left-hand side. Benning ripped in a good cross. Lloyd met it with a header, maybe just slightly behind him, but he really got good contact trying to put it back across inside the near post, and it just had too much on it. It went wide, but it was a good move by Shrewsbury and a warning of what was to come. But then a couple of minutes later, Wrexham had a sort of similar opportunity. It was a good spell of pressure by us, which ended when Cannon had a shot blocked on the edge of the box. The ball ricocheted out. Shrewsbury looked to break, but Cleworth won the ball back very coolly and fed Cannon. He worked it down to Barnett. Again, he put a great ball in, and Rathbone attacking it in the centre of the box, headed it wide of goal. I think he just arrived a little bit too soon. He came bombing in and he couldn't control the header properly, and it went off target. Still, like I said, at half time, I got to be honest and say I felt pretty comfortable that we were going to step it up a little bit, keep doing the things we'd done well in the first half, and would be able to take control. But we concede within 3 minutes of the restart in the most horrible way, and I think it really, really knocked us. It was Matty James tracking a run down the flank, got there first, fed the ball inside to Owen O'Connell in our penalty area, and I can only assume he didn't realise that George Lloyd was in the box right next to him on his blind side. He turned straight into him, and in desperately lunging to try and avoid losing the ball to Lloyd, took him out. It's a penalty, there's no question. In the commentary, I thought Lloyd had fouled O'Connell. Actually, I must admit, but the moment I saw the replay at the game, I realised, oh no. Mrs. O'Connell didn't seem to realise he was there. The ball got away from him slightly, and it was a desperate lunge, took him down. Marcus steps up, drills the penalty down the middle. Okonkwo saves it with his legs, but it bounces straight back out to Marcus, who's got all the time in the world to put Shrewsbury ahead. And we tried to respond, but we're not really getting anywhere, not making many chances, in all honesty. The hard work of Shrewsbury's midfield three was impressive, I thought, in the second half. They really protected that defence. And a lot was coming down the left for us, but McLean wasn't really able to get much into the box. I thought Hoole, the young Welsh fullback, did well on the right for Shrewsbury. And not enough maybe got down the right-hand side for us, where Barnett was looking threatening. So halfway through the half, we make the change. Andy Cannon comes off, Paul Mullin goes on. We switch to that formation that Andy Parkinson, different Parkinson, that Phil Parkinson uses when we're trying to chase the game, where we've got a back four now. O'Connor and Cleworth are the centre-backs, and Mullin is playing at the sharp end of a diamond behind two strikers. It didn't really... Oh, I beg your pardon, we didn't at that. I do beg your pardon. We do that 9 minutes later. Mullin and Fletcher go up front at this point, with Lee dropping into midfield, and for me, we look a bit more promising, although actually the next chance created is a half chance for Shrewsbury, when the ball fell for Hoole, coming in narrow, fed it to the edge of the area. Castledine managed to bring the ball down nicely, but then snatched at his shot because Cleworth put him under pressure on the edge of the D and pulled his shot wide, and within a minute Wrexham carving out an opportunity. O'Connell with a long ball through the middle. Fletcher does beautifully. I mean, what a good technical player he is. He's up against two centre-backs who manages to stretch and bring the ball down beautifully. Now, Mullin is sprinting unmarked into the centre of the box, and it's frustrated he doesn't get the pass. But to be fair to Fletcher, he's just done a very difficult skill. The ball's bouncing in front of him. To be able to then stay calm and just work Mullin in is really asking a lot. He tries a shot, which is on, because Blackman, because it's a long ball, is still a bit off his line, and he tries to curl it over him and into the top left corner, and he just about misses the target. We then make that change, which goes to the back four, which means that we've now got Marriott coming back on the pitch after injury for the first time, replacing O'Connell and going up front with Fletcher. Mullin now is in the hole, like I said, and yeah, this is our best spell comfortably of the second half. And in the 78th minute, I mean, I don't know how he didn't score, quite frankly. It was a good build-up by us. James getting 3 challenges in, actually, on the edge of the box as Shrewsbury tried to pressure us. But then he gets the ball out. McLean on the left, quickly inside to Rathbone. He quickly helps it down the right as a tempo you want. Barnett, again, delivers. Mullins unmarked, running into the box. The cross is tantalising. It's just beyond his reach. He stretches himself desperately just outside the 6-yard box. Can't quite make contact with his head. It hits the defender and ricochets back out towards Mullin, but decisively behind him. I've heard some people criticising him for missing this. I think Mullin does exceptionally well, to be fair. It's way behind him, but he manages not only to dig his foot back, but also to actually get enough power to drive it towards goal. It's not the finish he'd have had if it had dropped right in front of him kindly. He's done ever so well, I think, to get the ball on target. It beats the goalkeeper, and it's cleared off the line by Unciala. The ball comes back out to Fletcher in the 6-yard box. He tries to flick it back to Mullin, hits a defender, drops outside the 6-yard box. Fletcher retrieves it, spins, and drills a really good shot in from about 8 yards out, left-hand side, which goes across the keeper. It's heading into the far bottom corner, and Blackman, who is surely unsighted and has got the ball moving very quickly across him, does brilliantly to dive down and get a strong hand in it, and Shrewsbury are able to clear it away from under the bar. Crazy scramble. It just would not go in for us. A couple minutes later, another moment of frustration. Ball down the left-hand side, Mullin backing in. Ojo is touch tight with him. Mullin goes down asking for a penalty. I'll be frank, when I first saw it, I thought, well, Mullin does back in and try that, and it probably isn't anything. Watching it back, it's a good shout for a penalty, I think. Ojo gets his arms around Mullin quite early on. Because I know Mullin's backing in, he's looking for the defender to do it, but I feel like Ojo obliges. And he ends up with an arm around Mullin's neck. Mullin is holding on to his shoulder, but over the top, around the outside, the sort of way you can't do if the bloke's arm isn't already around your neck. And then Ojo does yank him backwards. I think it's a very good penalty shout, I've got to be honest. But the ref isn't interested, and I said the ref I thought was really erratic. I felt like he went into the game at the start thinking, I'll let the game flow. But what he actually did was just ignore some blatant fouls, as if that makes the game flow. And Shrewsbury were on the wrong end of that, I think, quite a lot in the first half. He should have given them more free kicks. Could have maybe given a yellow card to Wrexham as well, but he wasn't giving them. And in the second half, he seemed to tilt a bit the other way. We had a few decisions, corners, and this penalty shout, which didn't go our way. And of course, he starts throwing yellow cards around in the second half, as these refs always do, when they try to let the game flow, and it just gets out of hand. So I thought he reffed it badly. That was the only instant that could have affected the outcome, though, in all honesty. And within a minute, Shrewsbury are back up the other end, and Carl Winchester, who may well be playing his last game for them, their skipper, he'd come off the bench. It looks like he's going back to Northern Ireland. I had an emotional goodbye to the Shrewsbury fans after the match, which was even in my depressed state, it was nice to see. He did well to drive into the box and smash a shot in from the left channel, but he couldn't quite keep it on target. In fact, to be honest, the latter stages were Shrewsbury's rather than Wrexham's. We brought on Mo Farrell in the 90th minute for Rathbone, and really went for broke. We got Marriott, Mullin, Fletcher and Farrell all on the pitch at the same time. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work. We're not able to get service to those players, in all honesty, and our threat really diminishes. In fact, Shrewsbury, like I said, could have scored in the 90th minute. Hoole's standing the ball up to the far post, and Shipley did really well to keep it alive. It looked like it was an overhead cross, but Shipley managed to head it back into the goal mouth. Okonkwo tries to come and claim it, but doesn't hold on to it, and it drops to Marquis. Great chance for a hat-trick, but he slices it wide from 6 yards out. And then in the 7th of the 8 minutes that the referee added, which I thought was a bit generous again, another dangerous moment. Again, it's Shipley. He plays a really good ball from his own half, just punches it early down the left channel. And again, Marquis is after his hat-trick. He drives after it. Okonkwo does extremely well to sprint out the box. Just beats Marquis to it. They both get clattered as a result. And it goes out of play. And soon afterwards, the final whistle blows, and galling as it is to admit it, the better side on the night won. Looking at the performances, I mean, Okonkwo, I don't think you can blame him for the first goal. It's a really good early take. He'd been frustrated not taking that catch in the 90th minute, but then he did well coming out of the box to deal with that ball over the top. He wasn't worked all that much. The problem is the mistakes in front of us were costly. He saved a penalty as well, of course, I should say. The centre-backs, well, poor O'Connell had a game to forget, and after that second mistake, he really did look like he was trying much too hard to try and make amends, and was a little rash sometimes, maybe just desperately wanting to do something that will redress the balance. Poor guy. He's a good servant for us, but he had a rough time, and he really rushed off the pitch when he was subbed tactically to bring another striker on. Either side of him, I thought Cleworth did well. There were a couple of little edgy moments right at the start of the game, and then he settled into it. And he did well, not only defensively, but also in retaining possession, often under pressure, and having to make a defensive move. He did it in such a way that he still managed to find a teammate with his head or with a clearance. So, credit to Cleworth for that. O'Connor was okay on the other side as well, and was looking to get forwards and link play up in the other side's half. I thought Barnett was threatening. I wish we'd been able to work him into a few more threatening positions, but he put good quality into the box and a good assist. McLean struggled to get that in. He was, as ever, battling hard, but he wasn't able to get that much into the box for Fletcher to attack. Centre of midfield, James made a lot of good tracking runs trying to cover Shrewsbury players when they drove forwards from midfield. Maybe didn't impose himself when we had the ball as well as he can do. Alongside him, I thought Rathbone, just about our player of the match again, I thought. Battling, working, winning 50-50s, really wholehearted. Some of his tackling was excellent. And I thought as well, Cannon on the right-hand side of the midfield three again, worked extremely hard, won a lot of challenges as well, and showed a lot of heart. But he wasn't able to link with Barnett like he likes to. That just wasn't quite happening for us. Lee was lively, I thought, and when he dropped into midfield, he was looking to drive forwards and try to make things happen. Didn't quite manage it, but you could see his intent. And Fletcher had a good game up front, holding the ball up when he could. Had our two best efforts as well as the goal. Fair play to him. Felt sorry for Mullin, who worked extremely hard. That one chance that fell his way just didn't quite fall his way, which was a real pity for him. Good to see Marriott looking lively. He made a couple of really good runs attacking the near post when Barnett ripped closses him, and he just couldn't quite get there. But it was promising to see Marriott looked quite sharp and lively. Farl didn't have a chance to influence the game, came on in the 90th minute. And like I said, we didn't really get the ball to the strikers very effectively after going hell for leather. So a real shame, real disappointment. Poor performance, nobody would argue with that. We go again. Birmingham next Thursday. What a nice, easy way to come back. Laszlo, the podcasting cat, has just come in to agree. Yeah, I said Birmingham. You got excited, didn't you? There you go. That's promising, isn't it? He knows his stuff. Pity, but we go again. With the final score of Shrewsbury Town 2, Wrexham 1, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.